When personal missions appeared in our game, there was only one thing players wanted to know. What will I get for completing them? And the rewards were partly satisfying. 2 tank destroyers and the T-55A were of little interest. But the Object 260 was a different matter. It was worth grinding. It only has a few drawbacks, and many still want to get this vehicle. Now the T-22 SR is making an appearance. Is it worth sweating over it? Let's find out. If you've played at least one Tier 10 Soviet medium tank, then you probably have an idea about what any Tier 10 Soviet medium tank is like to play. These vehicles are versatile. They can use their armor, spot enemy vehicles, and cause damage. They don't have any obvious drawbacks, but they also won't surprise you with anything outstanding. They aren't German vehicles, acknowledged snipers, or the Batchat that can take out any medium tank of the same tier with a single drum, no. But they are very versatile. So why do we need another one? At first, the T-22 looks just like any other medium tank. It looks almost identical, and its maximum speed is 55 kilometers per hour. So what's the big deal? Its gun? No, it carries a standard Soviet gun. Its rate of fire is a bit lower, but the accuracy is a bit higher. But in general, who cares? They're similar. The difference is in its armor. You can't see it in the numbers because they're quite similar for all 5 vehicles. But once you take a closer look, you realize that the T-22's armor is much more like the IS-7 than any other medium tank. The weird shape of its hull makes the T-22 not just unusual, but truly unique. Yes, this is the only Soviet medium tank with a pike nose and spaced armor. And if you are wondering about the usefulness of the first feature, spaced armor isn't just good. It's excellent. It's effective against heat shells and can absorb damage from the most dangerous enemies, and in this position, the T-22 is capable of restraining the Jagdpanzer E-100. This is worth something. Of course, it has some vulnerabilities. For example, the T-22 can be penetrated in its upper glasses plate or gun mantlet, and experienced players will realize this immediately. But there is something you can do. Reverse side scraping, just like the IS-3 does. This is the first and only medium tank that uses this method, and uses it effectively. Here are 15 Waffenträgers, and this is the IS-7. How long will it stand against them? 20 seconds? A minute? Place your bets. We're gonna find it out right now. Now it's time to raise the stakes. Waffenträgers firing premium shells. Gosh, 15 Waffenträgers firing premium shells. How long will the IS-7 stand against them now? Come on, buddy, use your armor. The heavy tank blows up immediately. See where the shells hit? You might say this is a rough patch in the life of the IS-7. And now it's the T-22's turn. 75 hits. 42,000 potential damage. And what's the result? They only scratched the paint. A medium tank has better armor than the IS-7. Any questions? Sure. Shell bounces and non-penetrations are always good. The mix of an enemy's helplessness and personal greatness. We know, appreciate and love this feeling. But ruthless logic always interferes with this magnificence. You know what tanks are like. If it's got a lot of armor, then it can't be very agile. Common sense dictates that if the T-22 is sturdier than its counterparts, it should be slower. So take a look. Let's make our Soviets climb the hill. So what's going on? The T-22 is way ahead. What's the deal? Well, it's faster. Ah, here's the secret. Its engine power is 750 horsepower. This isn't just better than all other Soviet medium tanks, its engine is actually as powerful as an IS-4's. And since all Soviet medium tanks weigh roughly the same, we have the most maneuverable Soviet medium tank with a power-to-weight ratio of more than 20 horsepower per ton. In any sprint, maneuverability test, race or any other situation requiring a swift response, the T-22 will perform better. Of course, it's quite hard to feel the difference. The T-22 won't become a new Batchat or AMX CDC, but it can reach key positions at the start of a battle faster than any other Soviet medium tanks. Especially since it's got things to do there. The T-22 may be not a tank for the front line, but it has no problem at the halfway line. Its armor can hold off the first and fastest enemy forces. The Batchat likes to rush forward, but if it runs into the T-22, it'll unload its drum in vain and only get a few hits. And then the real tanks at the front line will catch up. In general, the T-22 is reasonably good. It doesn't have any obvious drawbacks, despite being similar to the Object 140 and T-62A. It's actually superior to them almost in everything. It has better dynamics, better armor, and fewer drawbacks. Well, it's the best Soviet medium tank. So what's the catch? We all know that it's impossible to be beautiful, successful, and talented at the same time. What is its drawback? What's its greatest flaw? And the answer is the T-22 itself. You can waffle on about its characteristics or usefulness, or how convenient it may or may not be to play. But the big question remains the same. How can you get it? Things aren't simple with the T-22. You'll have to complete all personal missions in rampage mode. And let me tell you, it won't be easy. For most players, it'll be a grind. But the end result is worth it. The T-62A, Object 140, Object 430, and Object 907 differ from each other like breeds of penguins. And the T-22 is just another penguin. But it's the Emperor Penguin.